Ayes have it. Call on Government Order of the Day number 4.
Smoke-free Environments Control and Enforcement Amendment Bill. Interrupted debate on second reading.
Just one moment, because you see we have an interrupted debate and there is a member who may wish to take his call, and that is Ian Lees-Galloway. He's got 2.5 minutes, should he wish to take the call. It appears not, so Dr. Paul Hutchison.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to speak on this very important smoke-free environments control and enforcement bill. This bill imposes controls on the marketing, advertising and promotion of tobacco products and is another significant step forward in reducing harm of tobacco products here in New Zealand. The Select Committee heard 150 submissions and the Select Committee was in unanimity that the measures taken in this bill were quite appropriate, and I'm sorry to see that Ian Lees-Galloway has just entered the House at the end of, just before he could finish off his speech, but he made a very useful contribution both during the Select Committee and I'm sure will during the committee stages of this bill. Might I also congratulate and thank the Honourable Tariana Turia and the Māori Party for their consistent approach to tobacco control and acknowledge the work of the Māori Affairs Select Committee during their inquiry into the tobacco industry in Aotearoa and the consequences for Māori. They would have liked to have seen even firmer measures than here, but I do believe that the measures taken through this amendment bill are a very important step forward in reducing harm. I think it's also important to acknowledge that there have been many individuals involved in the history of getting New Zealand to where the place it is now, where if one thinks prior to the 1990 Smoke-Free Amendment Act and even into 15 years ago, one could go into public places filled with smoke, into aeroplanes, into rail cars, into cafes, and most New Zealanders regard it as absolutely wonderful that we have the option of a clean environment. It is important to remind the House that there is something like 5,000 premature deaths per year from direct smoking and something like 500 from indirect smoking or second-hand smoke, and that there still remains a major problem in New Zealand. As the Honourable Tariana Turia pointed out the other night, something like 45% of the Māori population between 16 and 65 still smoke. Something like 50% of young Māori women are still smoking. And that there is a relentless effort by the tobacco industry to sell tobacco by whatever means they can possibly conjure up. So there have been a variety of measures put together in this bill to curtail, as I say, the marketing, the advertising and the promotion of tobacco products. It also includes herbal smoking products which had not had the regulations of the Smoke-Free Environment Act actually enforced previously, and it's very much the intention of the committee that those regulations that are there are imposed into the future. Where there was some debate in the House as to whether some of the new synthetic products, the cannabinoids such as chronic, would also fall within the measures taken by this new bill. However, the view was 2 or 3 months ago that because there had been no public debate or submissions around this, that aspect at this stage would come at a later date. I think the force of view around the country now, however, is that it would be right and proper to ensure that substances like chronic, synthetic cannabinoids and the whole variety around them do fall under legislation such as this as soon as possible. The transition arrangements have been made to ensure that the retailers do have a reasonable time to prepare. It is realised very much by this government and the Select Committee that costs are involved, but and so consequently appropriate transition arrangements have been made. This bill does affect internet sales, and that of course is right and proper, and of course includes very strong penalties for trying to sell over the internet to those under 18. It also affects covert sponsorship, and here again the idea is to counter the exclusive availability of a single tobacco brand at an event, including tobacco companies employing people to work at events wearing the brand's colours, and amendments are appropriately introduced with some pretty stiff penalties up to $50,000 for a manufacturer, importer or distributor who breaches the bans. The penalty regime is indeed increased. There has been great concern that in some of the minor retail stores around New Zealand, sometimes not the owner of the business has had the penalty brought against them, but that will be included in the new regime. So, Mr. Speaker, all in all, this is yet another step forward to reduce tobacco harm in New Zealand. It is a very realistic step and a practical step. It comes on the back of previous efforts over several decades, including last year a 3-step imposition of a tobacco tax of 10% a year over 3 years. So cumulative, Mr. Speaker, this is a practical, pragmatic and important step forward, and I look forward to the committee stages. I commend it to the House.
Labour call. Chris Farfoy.